What's crazy to me is y'all really out here saying that fruit is bad for you, and I don't like that. Welcome back to another episode of the Chef Boy RDN podcast with your host, myself, the Chef Boy RDN. And today it is all about fruit. We're going to talk all about fruit. Um, if you've been on this journey, you know we've kind of sprinkled fruit in when we were talking about carbohydrates, when we were talking about fiber, when we were talking about New Year, New Me, and we talked about whole foods in general. All of those episodes definitely talk about fruit, so definitely go check those out. Learn some things about fiber, learn some things about carbs. Last week we actually got a little personal with Chef Boy RDN, and we talked about how I've lost weight in the last 3 months or so, about 20 pounds. It might be a little more at this point, but within a 3 month period, I just took my time, did it the old school way, lost some weight, and I gave you kind of my step to step process of how I did that. So if you are a person who asks me how to lose weight and you haven't watched this episode, shame on you. Shame on you. No, I'm joking. But anyway, so today we are going to talk about fruit. We're going to talk all about fruit. I'm going to tell you, we're going to do some myth busting, of course. We're going to tell you why fruit is beneficial. We'll tell you about different types of fruit and what they do for the body overall and things like that. It's all about fruit here on the Chef Boy RDN podcast. So, the first thing before we even get into the goods, the amazing mint that is fruit, we got to talk about all of the foolishness that people be saying. So, one of the things is people are very fearful of the sugar that comes from fruit. Now, the sugar that comes from fruit is fructose. Fructose is a type of simple sugar. It's pretty much in its most broken down form. And then when we eat it, and when we eat fructose, our body actually sends it to the liver to be processed and converted over into glucose. Well, if you are eating excessive amounts of fructose, it can eventually lead to things like non-fatty liver disease. And so a lot of times people who are eating diets that are high in fructose, that fructose isn't coming from fruit. It's coming from very highly sugary, overly processed foods. Specifically, it's more than this, but one of the biggest ones is foods that contain high fructose corn syrup. Okay. Now there are differences between just corn syrup solids, and high fructose corn syrup. I'm not here to talk about those differences today, but just know there's a difference between those three things, regardless of what you hear on the internet. All right. So when it comes to high fructose corn syrup, um, it has a high concentration of fructose. That's why it's called high fructose corn syrup, right? And so when it goes to the liver, it is processing a lot of that fructose. And it just is, for lack of a better word, it's kind of stressing the liver out. And so over time, of course, that does cause different things. It's been linked to obesity. It's been linked to type 2 diabetes. It's been linked to, again, non-fatty liver disease. But even with that, that is a high concentration of fructose. When you are eating fruits, you're not eating nowhere near that level of concentration um, in those fruits as is in high fructose corn syrup. So just keep that in mind. It's also it's the people will also say it's bad for weight loss. This one crazy to me because fruit at its simple form, just fruit, is not really high calorie. Really, any of them. Now, if you overeating it, if you eating like 10 bananas, of course, that I'm saying it's not high calorie. I didn't say it's not higher in sugar, and we'll get to that in a second. But it's not high calorie, so you can definitely incorporate fruit into a weight loss journey. I have, and I still do, and I love fruit, and I will not give it up. And then the third thing is that you gotta understand that when it comes to fruit, it's not just the fructose. A lot of times we oversimplify things. We'll pick out one word and apply it across the board, right? So we hear high fructose corn syrup cause all these issues, and so fructose is bad. But to be honest, when it comes to fruit, not only does it have fructose, it has fiber, has water, it has vitamins, it has other nutrients, it has minerals, antioxidants, just so many different good beneficial things that are good for the body. So if anybody tells you that fruit is bad, don't even respond. Just walk away. I mean, why are we wasting time on people? You know what I'm saying? That's time you can't get back. We don't have time machines yet. We can't rewind that time. So when they start talking crazy like that, literally don't even say anything. Just leave the conversation. That's my suggestion. You can do what you want to do. Um, so we are going to talk about the benefits of fruits. Why are fruits good for you? Well, one of the benefits is what I just talked about. It is high in fiber. We know I keep talking about fiber, but fiber is so important for the body. It does so many different things. It helps to with our cholesterol levels. Fiber also helps with blood sugar management overall, blood sugar regulation, making sure our blood sugar isn't spiking up too high. Fiber also helps with our digestion, making sure we go into the restroom. What's coming in is coming out, right? Fiber also helps feeding our gut microbiome. All of those good gut bacteria that live in our stomach, they eat fiber. They eat fiber and other things, but they eat fiber. It's a big source of their diet. And that fiber is very beneficial to have a good, healthy, and thriving gut flora, which is just all those different bacteria, right? It also hydrates you. We know this. Think about watermelon. You eat some watermelon in the summertime, guess what you're going to be in all day? The bathroom, right? Because it hydrates you. Um, I mean, watermelon is a perfect example, but any fruit, we get fruit juice from fruit, right? So it has to have some type of water to provide us with that juice. And it's satisfying. It tastes good, especially when I'm on again, a weight loss journey. I told y'all that sweet tooth be kicking my butt sometimes. It be really trying to fight its way out. And fruit definitely helps with that. Fruit helps with that. And yes, I don't battle sugar cravings in that way, but yes, I still have them. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people be like, "Oh, sugar craving, you need to do this, do that." Eh, I deal with it, and I'm perfectly fine. Um, the other thing is it is nutrient dense, so it has a lot of. When we talk about nutrients, those are all of those little things: the fiber, the carbohydrates, believe it or not, even the fructose, that's a nutrient, the vitamins, the minerals. And it has all of those things in it in decent amounts for the amount of calories that you're getting. When you process foods, meaning the more that something is converted into something else, typically the more minerals, vitamins, nutrients overall that you lose. So when you're eating fruit in its purest form, it's going to be rich in those vitamins and those minerals. And we know this. We talk about it if you think about it, we talk about it all the time, right? When you need potassium, what are you going to eat? A banana, exactly. When you need vitamin C, what are you going to eat? For me, I'm going to eat some strawberries. But for you, it's probably going to be oranges, right? So also, I be interrupting myself. Y'all know how I go here. I told the story about scurvy. Somebody, my wife, basically told me she's pretty sure that it was oranges that was the fruit. I didn't think it was oranges because I just remember it being a fruit that I wasn't. I remember being surprised that it wasn't oranges. but I could be wrong. So what I want you to do is tell me, if you know the story about the pirates and scurvy, what was the citrus fruit that they found that helped them discover vitamin C, which was basically the cure for scurvy? All right, so all of that to say it's going to be nutrient dense. The more that you process foods, the more nutrients you take out of it. So if you are saying don't, you know, if you take a piece of fruit, it's going to be pretty nutrient dense. Fruit juice, probably not as nutrient dense as the fruit because it's more processed. So those are the benefits of having that fruit. And the fiber in the fruit actually helps to fill you up as well. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is the glycemic index in fruits. Now, the glycemic index is kind of it's a simple concept, but it's a kind of crazy concept. And basically, to make it as simple as I can, the glycemic index is a scale that tells you how much something will affect your blood sugar levels. Meaning, if you eat something, will it make your blood sugar go really high? Will it stay low? Will it go in the middle? The glycemic index kind of gives you an indication of what it will do. It's on a scale of 1 to 100, and the higher it is, the more that it'll spike your blood sugar. The lower it is, the lower it will spike your blood sugar. And so, it goes from 0 to 100, not 1 to 100. Sorry. So, low glycemic index foods, and before I even get into that, fruit, we often look at fruit when it comes to glycemic index um, as the glycemic index is a great way to kind of look at fruit and see how much sugar it has in it, or how much that sugar will affect your blood sugar levels. One group of people that I use this a lot with is people with type 2 diabetes, or diabetes in general. I just see a lot with type 2, but I also see people with type 1. But the GI, or the glycemic index, definitely helps us to figure out what fruits we should maybe have more of, what fruits we want to maybe stay away from when we're trying to regulate our blood sugar levels. That does not make that fruit bad or good. That just means that some have more sugar than others. That's all. So when it comes to foods that are low glycemic index, the rise will happen slower. When it comes to foods that have a high glycemic index, the rise will happen a lot quicker. Um, Low glycemic index fruits are anywhere from 0 to 55, or 0 to 54, I guess. Basically less than 55. High glycemic index fruits are going to be 55 to 100. Okay, so some examples of the ones that are low on the glycemic index are definitely going to be berries. Berries are some of the lowest. Cherries, believe it or not, cherries as well are low on the glycemic index. And what I tell people about berries is, if you think about it, berries, even when they are ripe, they not always sweet. They could look like the most beautiful strawberry, most beautiful blueberry, raspberry, blackberry that you've ever seen in your life, and it tastes like crap. So I won't say crap. It's just not sweet. Let me not say crap, because it's good for you and it's delicious, and I love berries. So, but it may not taste good, or it may not taste sweet. You know what I'm trying to say. But anyway, so we know that those are going to be low on the glycemic index. Also, foods like apples, pears, cranberries, definitely, plums, peaches, and grapefruits. Now, things that are lower on the glycemic index are going to be typically tend to be a little higher in fiber, and they are good for, or at least the fruits, I guess I should say, can be higher in fiber. And they are good for steady energy levels. So your blood sugar will start to go up over a period of time. It'll stay up a little longer, and then it'll go down slower. Um, they're also good for blood sugar control. And then these are the fruits that are really good to incorporate, because they really are typically lower calorie if you are trying to do some weight management. Now we have high GI index fruits, and high is going to be above 55. It's actually going to be like 70 and above. Is really high, and those are going to be things like watermelon, ripe bananas, pineapples, and mangoes. And if you think about it, all four of those things, when they are ripe, they're always sweet consistently. Watermelon is not as bad, but the main problem with watermelon, when it comes to the amount of sugar, but the main problem with watermelon is we don't eat a serving size. Serving size of watermelon is about a cup and 3/4, I think. I have never cut into a watermelon and ate a cup and 3/4. And if you have, kudos to you. It's just not my story. So just be mindful not to overdo it with the watermelon and the other fruits. But what they are great for is they actually help to boost your energy. So that's really good, because they give you kind of that quick acting energy. They give you a nice little spike of sugar because it's going to go up quicker, right? They actually help to refuel your glycogen store. So, like after a workout, when you're exercising and stuff, your body over a period of time will tap out of the sugar that's just in your blood, and it'll go into that stored sugar for energy, the glycogen stores. And so, if you eat like a banana after a workout, it definitely helps to replenish those glycogen stores in your muscles. Examples of that, we talked about, which are going to be bananas, the watermelons, things like that. Now, you also have moderate GI. This is what's right in the middle. This is 56 to about 69. This is going to be cantaloupes, pineapples, not pineapples, papayas, I'm sorry, and raisins. And these are good for you, but again, you just want to be mindful of portion size, just like the high index fruits. So that is the GI index in a nutshell. You can definitely always look online and see how high fruits or low fruits are on the glycemic index. So overall, should you worry about fruit? If you can't tell by now, the answer is absolutely not. Um, Unless you have specific medical conditions like type 2 diabetes, you do want to be mindful and get with your doctor and your dietitian as far as what types of fruits. I will tell you that berries are probably going to be your best friend, especially if your diabetes is not controlled. When it comes to fruit, there are ways you can have it, multiple ways, right? We can have it fresh, we can have it frozen, we can have it in can, and we can have it as juice. Now, let's talk about it. So when it's fresh, it's going to be probably the most nutrient dense, right? Um, and so that's the biggest benefit of fresh. Fresh also typically, if you find it in season, it's going to be delicious and ripe, and it's going to have a nice crisp snap, all of that good stuff. But the downside of fresh is it doesn't last long. And I don't know what y'all doing to these strawberries, but it's almost not worth buying unless you're going to eat the whole thing on your way to the car. If you buy it and you make it to your car, it's done. If you buy the strawberries and you make it out the store, they're done. You got to eat them, have some fruit spray or something with you on your way to the car so that they can stay fresh. But the biggest problem, again, with fresh fruit is keeping it fresh. Now you could do frozen. The benefit of frozen is they actually freeze it at peak freshness. So it still has a lot of those nutrients in it. And it's good for smoothies and things like that. The issue with fresh or frozen is if you're trying to eat it like on its own, it's either going to be cold, which some people like, or if you thaw it out, it's going to be mushy. Ugh. So you definitely want to be mindful of that. Now, but it's good for smoothies. It's definitely a good way to get your fruits in as far as nutrients. Canned can last for forever. Okay, that's the benefit. But you do have to be mindful of canned fruits because they can often come in syrup or heavy syrup. So you either want to say really in water or in natural juices. But you definitely don't want to get the one in syrup or heavy syrup, because that syrup again is going to be that high fructose corn syrup we kind of talked about. Or it might be a other type of syrup, but as much as you can, just try to get it in juice or water. Um, and then dried. Did we talk about dried? No, we didn't talk about dried. So dried is going to be good for you. It also has a lot of nutrients in it. But the thing you got to be mindful about dried is when it dries, it loses its water content. And so you get a lot more calories for a lot less, right? So if you are eating, like I like to eat dried mangoes, one mango, I don't know how many calories it is, but I know that one mango, I can eat it in one setting or whatever and be fine. Dried mangoes, two or three pieces of that is a whole mango, right? So if I eat multiple of those calories and those sugars can add up really quickly. So you just want to be mindful not to overdo it, because it does tend to have a higher sugar content just because they've taken the water out of it. And then fruit juice. Now, let's have a real conversation about fruit juice, because what some of y'all calling fruit juice is glorified Kool-Aid. Okay, if you look on the back of the label and it has like 10% juice or less, what are we even talking about? Why are we having this conversation? But furthermore, when you are drinking fruit juice, what I want you to keep in mind is fruit is made up of all the things we talked about earlier, right? Water, vitamins and minerals, fiber, and sugar. Some other things, but those are the main things, right? When you process something, you are typically getting rid of something, right? And so when it comes to fruit and fruit juice, the thing that you're getting rid of is the fiber. That's the thing that helps to regulate the blood sugar levels. So now you have more of a concentration of sugar because you don't have any fiber to kind of combat that. And yeah, you still get some of the vitamins and minerals, but it's more beneficial most times to just eat the fruit. Just eat the fruit. That's all. That's all we saying. Just eat the fruit. That is everything on fruit. We are back with Chef Boy RDN Tries It, and today our guest host is back by popular demand. How does it feel to be back?
It feels amazing. You like me. You really like me.
Does it feel like home? It has to, because technically it is.
Yeah.
So last time you were here, we tried the Poppy and the Pops. Any lingering thoughts?
Just Poppy still for the win. Imitated, but never duplicated.
Never duplicated. So today, today we are going to try fruit, different types of fruit. Now, I got a very basic fruit here. This is cantaloupe. Now, I rediscovered cantaloupe probably sometime last year as an adult, and it's had me in a chokehold ever since. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Absolutely, right?
Absolutely.
Fun fact about this, I went to the store yesterday to get it. Could not find it. Ended up going to 3 stores just to find a cantaloupe, and it was worth it. What do you think about cantaloupe?
I love cantaloupe. You know I love cantaloupe.
Okay.
But honeydew is my preference over cantaloupe.
Interesting. Okay, and then today we have dragon fruit as our other fruit. So we're gonna try dragon fruit, and she's holding it up right now. It looks amazing. I'm excited, and yeah, so we're gonna get ready to give it a try, and we'll see what we think about it. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is my first time having fresh dragon fruit. I've had it like on resorts when it's like cut up. I've had it dried. I've had it in different things, but I've never just went to the store, bought one, and had it. Have you?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
It doesn't always. I mean, I see it, and when I do see it, like on vacation and stuff, I'm always like, oh, I should try it, and I just always hesitate because it doesn't. It just looks a little exotic.
I feel you. And when it comes to foods,
Mm-hmm.
a little more simple than myself, would you say?
I am a little bit more conservative, I believe.
Conservative is a crazy word.
It's a crazy
Okay.
word. But I will say you have opened my palate. I explore more foods now since marrying you, which is true. Um, and not because I just, didn't like it. It was
Mm,
because I just never wanted to try. Like, I didn't like avocados because it was green and it just didn't look good.
that's fair. Very fair.
But you make guacamole that time and it's amazing. He makes amazing guacamole.
Shout out to me.
So, funny story. I feel like every time I thought of dragon fruit, I always thought of dragon tails because they always talked about like fruit
That is fair.
in
That is fair.
Dragonland.
Shout out to Dragon Tales.
Dragon tails. Yeah,
Not singing.
that was
We
me and like favorite show.
okay.
Oh, do we not do names? Oh, my bad. My cousins. We used to watch it a lot.
Let's get into this fruit. So, dragon fruit is actually a lot of people think of it as exotic. It does look kind of exotic if you look at it,
Yes.
and it's actually grown on cactus, and it's grown on what they call climbing cactus.
It's got no smell. Like, it doesn't smell like anything. It smells like water.
It it really doesn't smell like anything at all.
That's crazy.
And I always thought it looked so interesting with the black seeds and the white. Like it almost don't look natural almost.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's the pink, the bright pink. Like, this honestly looks like a design by Kate Spade. Like a purse.
Let's give it a try. So I just got a spoon because that's what all the people online eat their fruits with. It makes no sense to me, but here we are. They can't see it. You gotta hold it up.
I'm scared. It's too much.
You got it. Cheers.
Itadakimasu. I don't think we got the right
one. I don't really have much to say.
Maybe we should try something else.
After the laughter is done, honestly, I'm upset because this fruit was expensive.
Just give it to Shelby.
This joint, it tastes like, what would you say it tastes like?
Nothing. It tastes like nothing.
It tastes like watered down water.
Mm-hmm. With chia seeds.
Yeah, it's a nah for me.
I've heard that dragon fruit is actually good for dogs. Like, I've seen people scooping it out and putting it, like all them videos. Mm-hmm. People actually give.
No,
a lot of fruit.
A lot of fruit. I got a dragon seed on me. A lot of fruit is actually really good for dogs. I will say, I'll go back in for another try. It looks really, the look and the taste is two different things. It's not even comparable.
Oh, God.
It tastes like lightly sweetened nothing. It really does.
But then at the same time, okay, before I make my next comment, I'm going to give it another try. As a matter of fact, let's cleanse the palate. Let's cleanse the palate.
It's not working for me.
Because I have a thought about what it tastes like. And it's true. It tastes like feet. It really do. I've never had feet. It's that type of show.
That was a crazy statement.
It just reminds me of the smell of feet and what that must taste like. It doesn't.
It definitely has
There's something underneath the
water. It's an undertone, Hint of spice, hint of sewage.
Just a hint. Just a hint.
A little hint of spiciness, like a little hint of soy sauce, a little hint of the tomato, a little hint of the spice.
Yeah, nah, it's a no for me.
Dang,
It's
and
enough
it's
for
so
me.
pretty. Like
It looks
really,
good. It looks good, and I've seen a lot of people say it was disgusting. But you know me, I'm gonna give it a try for myself.
It's pretty
But
though.
yeah,
Maybe
no.
is there a way to blend it up? Maybe it's something we could blend in a smoothie. You know,
I'll make you an amazing smoothie
a
with that.
smoothie.
Mm-hmm.
We have a friend, a best friend actually. He loves smoothies.
He does.
We
There you are.
There you are.
LNT.
LNT.
Oh, there you are.
Going in a smoothie. Don't eat it like this. Do they not sprinkle something on it? It's
You know, we should try it with some salt. So she's going to get some salt. We're gonna try it with salt. We're gonna see if that makes it better. I don't think so. We got some salt, some flaky sea salt. Just give it a little sprinkle. Honestly, I shouldn't have been so aggressive because I know I'm not gonna like it, and Shelby gonna end up eating it. So I'm gonna have to scrape this salt off.
She can have mine.
Yeah. It's not okay. It's not okay. It's almost worse.
Yeah, no, I'll pass.
It's
okay.
done.
We tried it.
So it's an F for me. And really,
it's failed.
Color
F
and look,
beautiful.
A plus.
It reminds me of something like
Taste, F.
The look.
It looks almost like a dragon egg for real.
Yeah, but I mean, it's beautiful. It is a beautiful fruit. I love the look of this, like these colors and everything. It's giving vacation, resort,
for sure.
But taste wise,
it's a no.
It fails.
Dud.
Rejected.
All right, well, that is ChefBoyRDN tries it. All right, and we are back for the vitamin of the week. The vitamin of the week this week is potassium. Now, again, like last week, potassium is not a vitamin, it is a mineral, but a mineral of the week just don't sound the same. So, potassium is a mineral and it's an electrolyte. It is actually the main electrolyte for our intracellular, or it's our main intracellular electrolyte. What that means is, it's the electrolyte that is in highest concentration inside of our body's cells. On the outside, or our interstitial fluid, that's where you're going to have the highest concentration of sodium. So sodium and potassium kind of work together to help water stay and go in and out of the cells. The other thing so it helps with fluid balance, basically. The other thing that it does is it actually helps to support healthy muscles and muscle contraction and nerve signals. It's also critical in maintaining normal blood pressures because it actually relaxes the blood vessel walls. So potassium can do that, and when the walls relax, it reduces the blood pressure. It also helps with heart function overall and heart health. And yeah, we talked about sodium, fluid balance. Where can you find it? You can find it in a lot of different fruits. Bananas is the one we know about the most, but you can also find it in things like oranges, cantaloupes, kiwi, apricots, avocados, which of course is technically a fruit. You can also find it in vegetables like sweet potatoes, spinach, leafy greens, beans, and then watermelon, coconut water, and salmon, believe it or not, has potassium in it. When it comes to deficiency, if you don't have enough, that is what they call hypokalemia. And what comes with that is weakness, fatigue, muscle cramps. Now, you don't have to necessarily, well, I guess you technically are hypokalemic, but muscle cramps can happen. And a lot of times people will be like, oh, I need to give me a banana, right? Because you know that you're not eating enough potassium. It can also cause heart palpitations, constipation, because remember, it deals with fluid. And in severe cases, it can actually cause irregular heartbeats. So keep that in mind. Now, what are some of the causes of deficiency? Because most people don't necessarily become deficient from not eating potassium per se. But if you are sweating a lot, like you're outside exercising, because it's an electrolyte, and if it is an electrolyte, that means that you can lose it in your sweat. And you can also lose it when you're vomiting, diarrhea, and overuse of diuretics. So if you are overdoing it on the diuretics, you can become hypokalemic. Now, with toxicity, it's actually rare to get a toxicity from food itself. But if you do have kidney disease, kidney is one of the things that regulates our electrolytes. So when we have too many electrolytes, we kind of pee them out. And if your kidney isn't functioning properly, that potassium can stay in your body and cause hyperkalemia. So hyperkalemia, what happens is you end up with heart issues, basically. Now, another way that you can become hyperkalemic is if you are sentenced by the state and you get a lethal injection. The thing that they use is potassium chloride. The reason why is because potassium can, if you get an overdose of potassium, it can stop your heart really, really quickly. So they are very mindful when it comes to food and stuff. You really don't necessarily ever need to supplement outside of like an electrolyte repletion drink or something like that. That's perfectly fine. And they do it in safe doses to make sure that you're okay. So that is everything on potassium. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Chef Boy RDN podcast. Me, the host, we had our special guest co-host back. We tried some dragon fruit, which she loved. She'll be eating more of.
No. Shelby will
I'm
be getting
done.
my portion.
For sure. Shelby, our little dog, she just heard, you heard her out there? She just heard our name, or her name. Anyway, so today was about fruit. I hope you got rid of all of those misconceptions. Fruit is definitely good for you. Remember, it's nutrient dense, it's high in fiber, high in vitamins, high in minerals. I mean, just all of the good stuff. If anybody tells you that fructose is bad, again, remember what I told you at the top of this episode. Just walk off. Just walk off. Don't even waste. You can't get time back. We don't have a time machine. Just walk off. Next week, we will be talking about intermittent fasting. Have you ever intermittent fasted before?
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll talk about some of the benefits, some of the pitfalls that people fall into, everything about intermittent fasting. So be sure to come back. Don't forget to like, rate, subscribe, review, all the things on whatever platform you are on. And if you're following me on YouTube, definitely leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of the podcast. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer those for you.
And say you want me back.
And say you want her back.
This
Definitely.
is fun.
Yes. And we will talk, or I will, maybe we will, I don't know, next week on the Chef Boy RDN podcast. So I really hope you enjoyed this episode today. I do want to let you know that we have a little special treat, a bonus to the episode if you are watching on YouTube. If you are listening on any other platform, just be sure to finish the episode and then go and watch on YouTube so you can hear me and my wife just kind of discussing fruit. Fun fact, she got some Jamaican blood in her. So when she was young, she used to go to the island often, and she got to experience a lot of different fruit. Mm-hmm. And so we'll be talking about that over there. But you got to go over there to hear it. Go on over there. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all the things. All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.